Hello, 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 and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Beverly Lucas, and I am the host of For the Love of Cooking Fridays. What do I do on Fridays? I try to show you how to create a meal at home that is always better than the restaurant. It is always better than the restaurant. So thank you for joining me on today. I'm making something a little different. It's ingredients that I've used before, but I've never put them all together before. So one of my most requested dishes is shrimp and grits. Shrimp and grits. And it is in my cookbook. And the cookbook is For the Love of Cooking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that shrimp and grits recipe and I'm going to use crab. So we're having crab and grits. So let me introduce our ingredients to you. First of all, I have the star of the show, and it is just one Dungeness crab leg. This was $19.99 a pound at the fish market that I went to, and this cost me about $17, so it's almost a full pound. And I am cooking for an audience of one. And then we have our grits. I always use Quaker Grits, and I usually use the slow cooking old-fashioned grits, but that's not what was in the cabinet. So sometimes we use what's in the cabinet. And today it is the 5-minute grits. To the grits, I will add some cheddar cheese. This is about a half a cup of cheddar cheese. I will also add a cup of heavy whipping cream instead of water. I may add a little water. I have to see how it tastes. And if I add water, I will also add a chicken bouillon cube. No, let me back up. I'm going to add the bouillon cube, period. I may add water. Okay, our bacon is done. Take it out. We're going to leave all the fat that's been rendered. Okay, now we are going to add our sausage in the same bacon fat. And we're also going to add to that our onions. And to that, I'm just going to add a little bit of butter, because butter makes everything better. So we have to remember, the thing about packaged sausage is it's already cooked. So really what we're doing is we're just putting a nice little sear on the sausage. Our water for the grits are almost boiling. This is a really good take, or a really good version of just seafood and grits. You know, it's very southern. Some people like it very hot. In fact, I think that I'm going to add some hot flakes. Since the tomatoes that I'm using are mild, usually when I make the shrimp and grits, I use the hot tomatoes. Well, sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. Next, we are going to add our garlic. It already smells so good. We're going to leave a little bit of garlic for our butter, for our crab. I can smell the garlic, and we don't want it to burn so it doesn't get bitter. So we are going to add our tomatoes. And about a quarter cup of some water. We're going to make sure we work all the bits. Oh, that smells so good. Turn it down a little bit. I'm going to get another bouillon cube. We're gonna put that in there. Okay, I'm just adding just a little white wine, about a 1/4 cup. I'm just gonna let that cook down. Now the water for the grits is ready, but because it takes 5 minutes to cook, I'm not gonna put it in. I'm gonna turn it off until this sauce is completely done. We're gonna add another one of my secret ingredients. If you watch any of my videos, I talk about this all the time. In the kitchen, watching my mother cook. Although she did not let me in the kitchen, I was always watching. And one of the things that she always did is she always put just a little bit of sugar in her dishes, especially when you use tomatoes, because it cuts the acidity of the taste for the tomatoes. Okay, I think I want to add a bay leaf. I do. Just 2 bay leaves. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this down so it can simmer a bit and I can get a taste of it, and we will go from there. I didn't have any fresh thyme, but I do have some ground thyme. Take a little bit of our red hot pepper. I like mine just a little bit spicy. And I am going to cut into a lemon. Give it a little bit of lemon juice. Now I'm going to add some of my crab seasoning, just a little bit. Just like the sausage is cooked, the crab is also cooked. So really what we'll be doing is just warming it up. And this has been simmering for a minute, so let me taste a little bit. Ooh-wee! That is delicious. I'm trying to think, does it need anything? I can taste just about everything. It tastes delicious. I added a little bit more water, and I also added just a little bit more sugar, because when I added the crab seasoning, it gave it a very salty taste, so I wanted to cut that down. I'm also adding another ingredient that I didn't introduce in the beginning, and this is gumbo filet. And we sprinkled this on the top of seafood when it's done, but we can also add a little while it's cooking. Even though it's not gumbo, anything having to do with fish, it adds an extra layer of flavor. So we have that there. And now I am going to add the crab. And I'm just going to set the crab in there. And I'm going to put the top on it, and it's going to absorb all of these juices. Our water is boiling, and it's just about ready for the grits. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pour in my whisk the cream. So I already have 1 cup of water in here, and this is a cup of whipping cream. I also have a chicken bouillon cube. So we're going to let that boil. Then we're going to add in a 1/2 cup of the Quaker Grits. The key to the grits is you want to stir them in, but you want to whisk them while they're in. So I put the grits in. I whisk them in. I put in about 2 tablespoons of butter. We don't need any salt because of the bouillon cube, and I just set my timer for 5 minutes. So I'm going to turn it down lower, and I'm going to cover it up and let it cook. While the grits are cooking, we are going to go ahead and prepare the eggs. And I have 2 eggs here, and the price of eggs is going down. It was only $2.33 for a dozen. And you might be saying, Beverly, why are you showing us how to make scrambled eggs? Let me tell you, you'd be surprised of the questions that I get from people about things like scrambled eggs. So I put the 2 eggs in there, and I'm gonna whisk them just like I whisked my grits. I'm going to add some salt and pepper. And I'm gonna add some heavy whipping cream. Again, people have different ideas, ways to make the perfect scrambled eggs. But for me, this is it. The one essential tool for a scrambled egg is a rubber spatula. So I have my pan ready, but we're gonna wait for the grits to be complete. There we go. Let's check out the grits. It says immediately to take them off the fire, so let me do that. I'm gonna move them out the way. We're gonna turn them off. And we are going to add our cheese. Let me bring you closer. How beautiful this is. See, they're not sticking. They're creamy. In fact, I have a little bit of cream left over that I didn't use for the eggs. I'm just gonna pour that in there. And that's the other thing. If the grits are too thick, you can add a little water. You can add, when they're done, you can add a little milk. I wouldn't use milk to cook them though, but once they're cooked. Look at that. Creamy deliciousness. So we're gonna set this aside. And I'm gonna put the top back over it while I scramble the eggs. So I'll turn that back off. Our crab is here. Our crab is already, it's cooked, it's done. In fact, let me move this to this eye and move this over here. Turn this on and bring you closer. To complete this, we are making our scrambled eggs, and what I have is about a tablespoon of butter that I let melt. And I have my 2 eggs and some whipped cream that I put together, or I mixed together. And first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna let it set a little bit. So I'm not gonna mess with it for about 30 seconds or so. Okay, so it's setting for a minute. And what I'm just gonna do, I'm not folding it in, I'm just moving it around. Not a lot. Kind of like a ribbon. I like my eggs well done. I like them soft. I don't want them overcooked, and I don't want them undercooked, and they don't take long at all. And I kind of use the same things, same ingredients when I make omelets. And the one thing to remember about eggs, just like meat, or any food, once you take it off the stove, it still continues to cook. I could have added some cheese to this, but because I have cheese in my grits, I'm good. And that's perfect. And I'm gonna take it right off the fire. I'm gonna put it right on a plate. That's what it looks like. Let's put everything together. When I tell you, this is one of the best things I have ever made. Look at this. Look at that. Scrambled eggs, sausage, crab legs, grits. Let me show it to you from another angle. Look at that. That is gorgeous. I mean, that is just gorgeous. I have to say so myself. Beverly, I think you did it this time. I think you really did. But of course, we have to taste it. My eggs, I already know what that tastes like. But these grits, and this sausage, so you can see, and my crab, look at that, dunk it here. And because it's been simmering in that sauce, let me tell you, this right here, this is a meal. This is a meal that you can make at home. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, my name is Beverly Lucas, and you have been watching For the Love of Cooking Fridays. On Fridays, I try to show you how to create a meal that is better than the restaurant. And let me tell you one thing today, I've done that. If you like this video, leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up. But most of all, if you have not, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Again, this is Beverly, and I will see you on next Friday.